What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dannylize this podcast. Okay, so before I do my introduction, y'all know that when I bring guests, I like to call in favors upon favors upon favors. But this guy right here, he's 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 very talented. But before I introduce him and I call on my Taino ancestors to bless the mic on this one real quick. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a review on all platforms. Let it be Spotify, iHeartRadio, casting, whatever you listen to a podcast on. Just make sure you go ahead and leave that 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. But this guy right here, listen, I had to like go back deep into my ancestor roots via Orlando, Florida. And I had to be like, yo, listen, I need some chonga as energy up in this podcast here right now. I want you guys to give it up for the very funny, very talented Eugene Torres out of Orlando, Florida. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
You know how it
You know how it is out here.
Yeah, bruh. You know all that extra energy, which I miss, by the way. How's comedy been treating you, man? How's it been?
You know, I guess I'm at the best point of my career, but that would make sense if if I wasn't, right? It would make sense to be that way. I'm coming up on 10 years in the game, so like I'm really coming into my own, right? Like I'm figuring out what I do. Like I had some people come up to me the other day and be like, "Hey, you're really like starting to talk more about your life, or you're talking about other shit that you went through, and it's like, why are you leaning into that?" And it's like, I'm not leaning into it. I'm just now a good enough comedian that I could talk about some serious shit. And now I know who I am on stage. Now it's just people like, you're calm. It's like, yeah, just give me the mic and I'll go.
Bro, that's crazy. Like I'm about four years in now, and I don't want to say I'm 100% comfortable on stage because there's still times where I still get the jitters and stuff like that. But I definitely feel a different sense of like comfort lately, like the zero. I feel like I'm in the zero fucks given part of my career right now, where I
Yeah,
don't care
yeah.
what comes out of my mouth right now. I don't care if it's offensive. I don't care if it's
Mhm.
uncomfortable. I'm going to say it. For you personally, how long did you feel, especially in Orlando? Because I'm gonna be real with you, like Orlando doesn't have as much stage time as New York City
Shit, if you think
or
Orlando don't got stage time, B, I started in Springfield, Illinois.
really.
Yeah, I moved to Orlando when I was already 3 years in. So
Wow,
like I started in a city where they had like one open mic a month. So
bro.
like I would drive 3 hours north to Chicago, do 5 minutes, come back down in the same night. So that's a 6 hour round trip. Go to work in the
To
morning
do something for 5 minutes.
to do 5 minutes. Yeah.
To do five something for 5 minutes. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't have a girlfriend in that time in your life. That's what I've
Nah,
learned.
man. I did have a girlfriend. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I would do a 6 hour round trip to do 5 minutes, get back home like 3 a.m. and go to work at 7 and then get out of work and do it again. If
Bro,
I wasn't going to St. Louis, I mean, if I wasn't going to Chicago, I was going south to St. Louis.
that's interesting, dude. Because I started in Dallas, so it was like the you start like I started at a club mic, and then all of a sudden, when you know how older comics do, like they see a little potential and they just kind of point you in the right direction. They don't tell you what to do. They're like, hey, there's this thing called mic maps. Just download that and just get on stage. That was the extent of the amount of like advice I got when I very first started. 4 years
I
down the
didn't get
road.
a guy. I didn't have a guy like that.
No,
Like
no, no. I don't even
see,
remember the guy's name.
Nat, okay, let me rewind that. When I moved to Orlando, I found a mentor, I guess. But when I started, I became the guy very quickly. Just because in Springfield, the talent pool is very shallow.
Yeah.
So like once you could get a couple laughs, they're like, damn, he's better than all these people already. And that's what it became. So like the local club would let me do time whenever. There's a town called Bloomington, close to us, had a club. I was like the house MC there very quickly. But it was when you became the best in like I was a big fish in a small pond very early on. So like I was the guy, and I wasn't good enough to be the guy, but I was the guy just based on everybody else
So
around me.
it's like you're the only one here, bro. It's you. It's you.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're gonna get all the stage time to you. So there's a little bit. I feel that 100% because I felt like I was that guy post pandemic in Austin. Like when Vulcan Gas Company and Rogan first made the move, there was still like a lot of the older comics weren't coming out, and they weren't coming out to do comedy. So the guys like me, they were like, hey, you're getting laughs. You're fucking crazy enough to be out here during these COVID times. Let's just go out there and put you in front of, killers. You're opening up for Jeremy Piven, Brian Holtzman. Name an A-lister from New York or LA that went through Austin. All of a sudden they're like, I got to learn from the best. I got sandwiched between the best of the best. And that's how I got my chops up. I feel very quickly. Was I ready? Fuck no. But they are never fucking ready for that next level. You're just
see, because now I feel like I am. Now it's just waiting for whenever that opportunity pops up, your boy's ready to go. Hey. Like now, like I'm not scared to follow anybody. And when I say anybody, I legitimately mean anybody. Put them in front of me, I'll go.
Let's go.
And yeah, I don't know, like there's just comfort. I was talking to one of my best friends the other day, who's also a headliner. He was my mentor for years. And I go, dude, I'm at the level now, like when I get on stage and I'm headlining, it's like, what am I going to do in 45 minutes? I got so much I could talk about. And then like I get to 45 an hour and I'm like, man, that's done. I'm done. And then I'm like, all right, let me get up out of here.
That's how it is. That's how it is, though, man. Like I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of great comics through this podcast, and they all say the same thing. There just comes a point where the level of comfort on stage is like it becomes second nature. Like you're not only thinking comedically every part of your life, but you're on stage and it's just like you're having a conversation.
And then, and I feel it in when I started, because I came from martial arts, I came from athletics. I always had the fake it till you make it mentality. So whenever I stood on stage, I wanted you to not think I was new. So I wouldn't tell people I was new. I didn't tell anybody when I started. I would just show up and go up there with the confidence of somebody who was gonna fucking kill it. Even if I didn't, even if I fucking went up there and ate shit, it was like, I was still gonna walk up like I'm that dude. And then, because that's just what I've been told. It's like, just show up, be confident, and just deliver. And if you don't deliver, you got to work on it. So like now is a point where like the confidence actually meets the skill level. So now it's like, there's nothing to be afraid of. Like people like, do you get nervous? Do you get anxious? I don't know what you call it. Like, let's get this going. Let's go.
Like an excited energy, right?
Yeah. Like when I would fight and I'm like sitting in the locker room and I'm like, let's go, motherfucker. This is it. There's no turning back. And that's the energy I get.
Like we wrote the jokes. We punched up what we had to punch up. I've done the stage time. I've bombed the bombs. Okay. There's no other ready to be ready. So let's fucking go. However this goes, we go. I love that.
Knock on wood, I think I've already had my worst bomb. So like,
I mean, there's still there's always another bomb to be had.
No, we can always bomb. I tell everybody that. Like I had some guys opening for me. We did this crazy like outside show the other day, and you're not set up to win. And they're like, "Are you ready?" And I go, honestly, I mean, I'm ready, but I could go up and bomb. Doesn't mean I can't bomb. And so you could always do that, but man, I had some fucking heaters back in the day that were like, I think that's the worst bomb I could do. I had one that made me rethink my life one time.
Hey, bro, I mean, I've had those before for sure. Let's talk about like that worst bomb that you had to go back and you're like, do I want to do this for real? Like, what was that one for you?
So I didn't even know how to do comedy. I was just doing impressions of what my favorite comedians did. Like, I think that's what everybody does when they start. They see people they like, and then they just emulate that. And so I was like, had to be less than a year in. and I'm booked to go do this show in a casino in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know Iowa, it's wider than this fucking wall behind me.
Hey,
And
hey, hey,
the
talk about it. Talk about it.
and the thing is, I wasn't a good comedian. Like I was just comparatively good. I wasn't good. I shouldn't have been there. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing like blue one-liners like Anthony Jeselnik. So like I go up and I'm supposed to do like 20.
And
I do my
you don't even got your 5 together yet. Oh, it's 6 months in. It's rough.
like I could do 20. Like I could definitely do. I had the amount of material. Now, was it A-level shit? Found out pretty quickly. No, it wasn't.
Oh,
But
was
I
it a
could
tight?
do 20.
Did you even have your tight 5? You know what I'm talking about? Your tight bop, 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 5.
If you put me in the open mic club guest spot setting, I would have had a 5 that you would have been like, all right, that was all right.
It wasn't like this.
Well, I mean, I hate everything I do. So like looking back 10 years ago, looking back 10 years ago, I'm
like,
not gonna co-sign it, but
like I'm 4 years in, and just now I feel like I have the tightest 10 minutes I've ever had. Like,
bro, every time
I could do 30, but like tight, like no applause break, just straight laugh, 10 minutes at 4 years. And that's hard work working in big cities.
Bro, I wrote a new joke and I go, I'm throwing the whole hour away. I just want to do this joke.
Done that before too.
I was like, I'm in the process of doing that. I started going out to all these little open mics again and I'm popping in. But in Orlando, it's like, oh, he headlines down here. Well, why is he at these open mics? And it's like, so like there's almost a certain amount of pressure to go in and like validate yourself. But I'm also like rewriting my whole hour. So I'm in this point right now that if I can't rewrite the joke that's in my hour, I'm throwing it away. I'm not doing it anymore. And
I mean, I'm 4 years and I can't tell you what to do. You have the experience, you know what your material is. I think it's for me, I work in 2 major cities where I see A-listers drop into mics all the time. And I mean it. Tony Hinchcliffe. I've seen, freaking Adam Ray. I've seen Brian Holtzman. I've seen all these guys that you would be like, if you're a comedy nerd, and you see these guys just walk into an open mic at a 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, just coming in with 5 new minutes. They're just, I just want to run these new jokes. And they're humble about it. They're like, okay, so it's not new to me. I'm sure in a city like Orlando, where they're not used to seeing, big time A-list stars in the comedy space, they don't see those people that just is like, no, I got to work out. I can't, you pay $30 to see me on stage. I'm not going to give you unpolished shit when you see me on stage.
And I'm one of the few local headliners, because that's all I am. I'm one of the few local headliners that'll be that pop into mics. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to rework this shit. And I might go up there and get crickets for the whole 5 minutes. It is cool though, because we don't have a scene here in Orlando that has your Tony Hinchcliffes or your Rogans or your Kreischers or Seguras or anybody like that popping in. That I go to an open mic and they give me whatever amount of time I want. Like I don't ask for it, but like I'll just be like, yeah, light me whenever you light everybody else. And then I'm like, shit, I just did 15. You guys didn't fucking give me the light.
Yeah, no, so that happens. That happens too. I mean, it's weird, right? Because at least the way Austin and Dallas is for me, as for my experience, right? It's if they see you, they give you more leeway if they consider you a serious comic, right? So even though you might not be the A-lister, but if you're one of those guys that they see that are working, and you know what I mean by working, not necessarily making money off of comedy, but you're getting up, you're doing what you do, and people look at you as like respect. I see you hustling, and then when you come into my mic, we'll give you leeway. You run the light, don't worry about it. Where if you're doing good, we're gonna let you run. But if you're bombing, here goes the light, motherfucker. Get the fuck off stage. But it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing to see like the difference, because when I last went to Orlando, that's when I met you. It was like doing time there was way different than doing time where I started.
Yeah,
very, very different. Like even like not to say that they were bad comedians, but it's like the levels to this game. Like I'm used to working with the levels of comedians, and it was like, oh, like these guys aren't bad. It's just there's just the stage time isn't available for you guys to really sharpen up that tool. You know what I'm saying? Compared
See,
to
I would argue, so I know what show you're talking about. I know what mic you're talking about, but you go to some of these other mics down here, and we got some killers.
no, I don't doubt
I've been saying this, and I'll put it on record. We don't have A-listers here. We don't have big headliners that live in Orlando. But if you go to that step below, where like comics that are 5 years in, that maybe feature a little bit, they do a little bit here, they do like they're just getting a little bit of work. I'll put those guys up against anybody in the country. We got some killers in that range. Like we got some dudes up in this town that nobody knows of that get on stage and they fucking murder. And Orlando is to me is a great comedy city that nobody knows. Probably similar to Austin, not before Rogan, but a few years before Rogan.
Oh,
so
okay.
like
I know what you're talking about. Like
like Austin was always a good comedy city. They had Cap City Comedy Club, they had those, but you had the people out there that were hustling and that were fucking good that nobody knew, and they didn't know, hey, Austin could be that city.
No, Austin's always been a great city.
I think Orlando's the same way. I think anybody could, if we could have got one of those guys that wanted to come to Florida and played the game here.
Yeah.
Well,
you do. You have Bill Maher. Bill Maher's there now.
Oh, come on. Don't give me that.
I mean, he's legit. I mean, you don't have to.
I'm not saying he's not. Of course he's legit. Of course he's legit, but he ain't out there.
He's not a club comic. He's a comic, but he's not a club comic.
But he's not nurturing the comedy scene.
I see what you're talking about. Okay. He's not giving back. He's not giving back. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's not. He's here, but he ain't nurturing the comedy scene. There's people can live here. I mean, Tiger Woods lives here. Doesn't mean he's out there in the hood playing golf with kids.
I mean, nobody goes to Crime Hills to pay hood to play freaking.
Dude, I remember Crime Hills. We used to come down here when I was a kid, and my aunt used to live out that way. But it wasn't that bad back then.
Listen, sir, I grew up in like the height of like BVL fucking when all the Puerto Ricans first moved in
Bro, Paramore. I used to be a hooper, man. And
Lakeside all day, dog. What's up? Let's go. Lakeside all day, bro.
I used to be a hooper, and my AAU team was based down here. So I would come down here and play AAU basketball. And I would go play with cats in Paramore because, you know, the bad areas is where the good players are. I got done playing pickup on this court one time. I left. I went back. Dude, I went back to my uncle's crib over on Seminole, and we looked on the news. Somebody just got shot. The court I just left.
bro, like I grew up in Kissimmee, right? I grew up like due south in Kissimmee, like BVL, like Boricua Viviendo Libre. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All day. And like I go back now, and it's not as bad as it used to be. Like they cleaned it up a little bit, and I'm like, yo. It's not hoodish anymore. Everybody's like, yeah, all the hood Puerto Ricans moved down to Poinciana. I'm like, I ain't going down to Poinciana.
Yeah, you out there in fucking sticks at this point.
Oh, dog, so Hibaro, bro. I'm trying to tell you. So
man, I wish we would have came back. Like I was born in Gainesville, but we moved up to Illinois because that dude Danny Rollins was running around Gainesville killing everybody. You remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was killing all the college kids. And they had just captured him right before I was born, right?
So your mama was like, fuck this shit. Fuck these.
That motherfucker. That motherfucker lived pretty close to us. I'm pretty sure he lived in the apartment complex that we were in.
Ay, Dios mío. Ay, no
so they moved to Illinois where my mother's family was from. They're like, hey, Florida is crazy. Let's get the fuck up out of here.
Hey, Florida. See, here's the thing. I think, growing up in Florida, I think Florida is crazy, but it gets a really bad rap. Like
that is hack. I do think I agree with what you're gonna say. I do agree with what you're saying. I love it.
Like I love Florida. I go back as much as I can. Will I live there again? Probably not, but I definitely go back fairly often. And it's like it gets a bad rap. I'm like, no, Yes, it's crazy. Yes, white people speak Cuban and wrestle alligators, which, by the way, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it happens, but it's also like Disney's there and Universal and old Jewish people that all they do is just talk shit. So it's like it's bad, but it's not really like it's like
You know
any
what
other.
it is? Florida is the carrot top of states, where
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the easy punchline. It's the carrot top. It's the nickelback of states, where everybody like, hey, I'm a guy who's not funny. Let me use this joke that people think is funny, and they don't really think it's funny. They just give you like fucking the side chuckle, like, oh yeah, Florida, Nickelback, yeah, they suck. Oh, carrot top, the prop guy.
It's like making fun of Alabama and fucking it's the
And I'll
same
defend
shit.
all those. And I'll defend all of them. Carrot Top is fucking funny. Carrot Top gets way too much fucking hate. The dude knows how to put on a show. And he took a genre of comedy and he fucking owns the entire genre.
And he's makes a ton of money. So no
He's loaded.
disrespect. No
Selling out
disrespect.
every show.
He's also
So like,
taking all the steroids. So totally.
I don't know if he's on that horse meat or not, dog, but
Horse meat. He's on the horse meat, bro. You look, he's had work done and he has muscles at like what 55. Dude is on the horse meat, bro.
I don't know. I haven't spoke to him.
Bro, he's geared up like a motherfucker. Him and Rogan are on the same fucking doctor. That's all I'm saying. All right. Going down to Panama, fucking getting injected in their necks and shit. That's
No,
all
I'll
I'm
plead
trying.
fifth on this, man. I'll fucking, if Carrot Top needs a new opener, I'll go open for
Hey,
Carrot
hey,
Top.
hey. Me too. But I also need the number of your doctor because I'm trying to finish losing this weight. That's all I'm saying. So you wrestled alligators.
Yeah, I do everything, man.
Espérate, cabrón. You do know you're Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, but you know we good with wildlife too, man. We in the jungle.
Listen, I get it, but it's iguanas and maybe like and croquis, bro. Like I'm not talking about fucking 7 to 8 foot. The fuck is wrong with you? What type of redneck bullshit did you get involved in?
I always wanted to be Jeff Corwin as a kid. You remember Jeff Corwin?
Yeah.
Running around. I wanted to be Jeff Corwin on the Crocodile Hunt because I came from Springfield. So like entertainment is not a thing out there. There's no, like, you don't know how to do it. Like I always did want to be a comedian, but that just seemed insane because how the fuck do you even start when there's no entertainment in the city?
Yeah.
So like I was always into wildlife and I was like, you know what? I know how to talk. I'm intelligent. I know a lot about animals. So all I wanted to do was be like Jeff Corwin and shit. But I did the alligator shit because I'm the type of guy that I'd be like, oh, I think I could do that. I'll go fucking do it. And that's how everything in my life is. I'm the guy who tells you that you could do anything you want to do in your life, just put in the work. And people say that, but people don't really believe it. People say that shit to themselves, like, oh man, go chase your dreams, go be whatever you want. And they're like, this motherfucker better have a backup plan. They better have, not me. If I tell you I could do something, I can fucking go do it.
I ain't got a backup plan right now, dog. The only thing I got is fucking comedy and podcasting, motherfucker.
Bro, and that's why I threw all my shit into this, man. Like all I do is comedy. I'm 10 years deep now. I could have went to fucking Yale. I had Ivy League fucking schools that I could have gone to. And I threw it all away to be like, let's fucking go tell these jokes.
That's ridiculous. See, I came up through the Florida school system. The best I could do is a bright future scholarship in UCF, bro. That's the best I could do.
You know, I was a good student, but it wasn't through effort. It was just
everything.
Like it was just natural ability, God-given ability. Like it wasn't through effort. I have a good memory, so you write something down, I remember it, you know, and I understand problem solving. So like I understand how things work together. And so like I wouldn't try.
That's a martial artist thing. That's a martial artist thing.
I wouldn't try. My teachers hated me. I was supposed to be the valedictorian of my high school, and they gave these two ladies, these two women, these two girls, they gave them extra credit to bump their GPA above mine.
Well, you know why? Because the ladies just, you know, they women's rights. Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the Midwest. This is the Midwest in the 2000s. So
Bruh, it is what it is. Anyway, so tell me, I've been keeping up with you a lot. You know, we talk on Instagram from time to time and all that. How was it working with Carlos, man? Carlos Mencia, how was that experience?
So I'll tell you, Carlos is very cool. With all that shit in the past, that's not my fight to have.
That's not what I'm asking.
No, I understand. I understand. But anytime you bring up Carlos, like not you, but in general,
yeah.
Anytime Carlos names get mentioned around me, that's gonna get brought up, and that's not my fight to have. What I can tell you is, it's been like 15 years. Let's say it's all 100% true. Let's throw that out there. I haven't even looked into it because honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't believe in joke thievery, but also he was a cool guy to me, so I'm cool to him.
Yeah.
But that was 15 years ago. At what point do you give somebody forgiveness? If it is true, at what point do you give somebody forgiveness? Because you can't take a whole man's career away from him. That's how I view it.
I mean, I agree with you. I also think I think the public would have been a lot faster to forgive him if he would have come out and been like, listen, yes, I've done these things, and no, I didn't do this. Like, yes, I bumped people. Yes, I did this. And yeah, I mean, he's been on podcasts recently in the last few years saying that, but early on, if he would have been like, my bad, it won't happen again. I'm sorry for the people that I've hurt, and move the fuck on. Kind of like Amy Schumer and a couple of these other,
And that might have been the best route in
hindsight, always.
And I don't know, because I was not in that position. I've never been the biggest comic in the world, because at that time
he was the biggest comic.
He was the biggest comedian in the world, and you don't know the pressure that comes with that. You don't know, and I'm not defending that. All I'm saying is, it's like 15 years ago. You can't take a man's career away from him for 15 years, especially a guy that still moves tickets on his own regardless.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that
dude's
dude.
The dude's a name.
I've seen that dude do fucking 5 hours in murder for 5 fucking hours. Material. He's not bullshitting. He's not doing the tricks we know where we can keep our sets moving on. This cat did 5 hours. What I will say in terms of me and Carlos's relationship, though, is very cool to me, man. He takes care of you on the road. He looks out for you. He'll text you and be like, dude, did you make it back? Tell me when you got back home. Tell me how. And he genuinely cares about you as a friend and as a person. So,
see, I've heard a lot of that. I know a couple of his openers, like Cisco Duran. I know
Cisco's dope, yeah.
Yeah, Cisco Duran, Diego Morales, who've opened for him, kind of in the circuit, the Texas circuit, some of the guys. And they all say the same thing. It was like, yeah, they all do, some of the guys that I know that have opened from, they've done the G check. They G check them in the beginning. They're like, yo, what's up? Did you really steal? And then they go, the stories of behind closed doors. I really don't know what happened. So whatever. And they all say the same thing. It's like, look, regardless if it's true or not, when you see that guy on stage, he is the best performer you've ever seen. And I can't argue with it, because I've seen him live. I've seen him, 10 years ago live, at Orlando Improv, out of all places, fucking just destroy for an hour and a half and just be like, I'll do this again next show. Like, no problem.
You want to know what else is cool? He'll watch my set. How many big headliners you get that actually sit in and watch their opener set?
When I opened for Brett Ernst watched my
I fuck with Brett Ernst, by the way. Brett to me.
Shout out to Brett, dude.
Brett to me, and I've said this openly many times, should be way more famous than he is. He's one of the best comedians in the fucking world, and I don't think he ever gets mentioned with the amount of respect that needs to be on his name.
Listen, first of all, he's a comics comic, he's your favorite comics comic, right? So he's one
Brett.
Of
I like Brett because Brett, not that we do the same shit, but he reminds, like, I feel like
he's similar. He's a Florida boy, right?
Yeah, but I feel like me and him are similar because we're fucking men and we do comedy and we don't feel like we have to fucking
no. Here's what I'm telling you. He's not only a man, but he's a Miami boy. That's the thing. He's a man. He went to the same high school my brother went to.
Yeah.
He went to South Ridge Senior High School in Cutler Ridge, Florida, which is South Dade County. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, when I met him and I told them, and it's like, oh shit, the dude is legit. And like, I talk to him like once a week, and fucking, He's been trying to get
See,
me.
I've never met him. This is just all from an outside perspective.
Bro, he's as cool as you think he is.
But I'm in my mind, I go, I feel like we're similar. I feel like that would have been my boy had we came up together.
Bro,
And
he's legit. He's a fucking dope motherfucker.
He's always, me and my wife have Brett Ernst like bits that we do back and forth to each other because I made her watch his specials and shit with me.
Oh yeah.
And so like
the Rainforest Cafe bit, that's probably
bro,
my favorite.
my wife is a bartender, and she'll come home and be like, "Yep, had to make a lot of strawberry lemonade today."
What is it? One of my favorite ones that I used to that I use is where she goes, "I can't take you nowhere." She's like, "Why?" "Because you don't get along with my friends." You don't get along with my friends. You fucking smart mouth. And I'm like, I'm a fucking comedian. You can't take me anywhere. Okay.
I feel like me and Brett's energy is so fucking similar that like, I don't know. I think he's starting to put more shit on the internet. He's starting to get more views. He's fucking on Cobra Kai.
He's gonna make a resurgence like into the.
I want that fucking pop, and I don't know him. I just appreciate good comedians. Yeah. I want that pop to happen for that dude so bad.
He's legit. He's a good dude. But my favorite thing about working with him and when I have worked with him is that he loves young comics. He picks up young comics and kind of takes them under his wing, even if it's for a short period of time. He'll just be like, "Listen, what you're using now, you're not going to be using in a year in your act. Don't worry about it." You know, when I did my first headlining gig in Springfield, Missouri, not Illinois, Missouri. I know I text him like I legit text him and I'm like, "Hey, Brett, like, 4 years in, I got my first, legit road headlining gig. Any tips?" And he called me. He was like, "Hey, yo, dude, listen, just have fun. You're not ready, but you're gonna be fine. Just have fun. And if you fuck it up even more."
Dude, he's headlining in Oviedo, and I texted the booker. I said, "If you don't bring nobody out, it's a booker that I headline for. But I go, if he doesn't bring nobody, put me as his fucking feature."
Hey, bro, I'm saying,
because I think that dude, he is in my top 5.
He's in a lot of people's top 5. He's in my top 3 for sure.
He's in my top 5.
He's legit, dude. He's a fucking legit fucking comic.
But I'm glad that he has that. That's cool to hear. So what I was saying, to go back to, Carlos will sit in and he'll watch me and he'll give me like advice and shit. And he'll be like he almost gives me like a weekly challenge. If I'm on the road with him, he'd be like, "Hey, this week I want you to find the music in your set, find the rhythm. And this time I want you to fucking do this. This time I don't want you to do any of this material." He goes, "I already seen you kill with this. I don't want to see it this whole week." And like, he'll give me like different shit to do, and he'll sit there and fucking watch. So I don't know how many I'm glad Brett's that way too. I don't know how many headliners are actually like that.
I mean, I think here's the thing. I think, when you go on the road or do sets with headliners that you vibe with, it becomes a mentor-mentee relationship, even if it's for the night, right? Where they don't only want a good show, but real comics respect the art so much that they know that the guys that are coming up behind them, it's like, I always say this, and this is kind of like a life thing. We're always standing on the shoulders of giants, no matter what you do in life, right? If you're a plumber, you learned how to be plumbing from somebody who was a dope ass plumber a generation before you. And you're going to teach another dope ass plumber how to be a dope ass plumber the generation after you. You don't own the craft, you don't own it, but you're just a steward of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a spiritual thing. You're a steward of it. And the great comics understand that, right? The Joe Rogan, you could tell on his podcast how he understands that and his way of giving back to the community. Tony Hinchcliffe has his own way of doing it. Brett Ernst, and but traditionally the way this goes in our industry is when you earn the opportunity to go on a road with a legitimate headliner like a Brett Ernst, Alex Raimundo, name whoever that is a touring comic and is a headliner, legitimately headliner. There's very few of them. Their openers get it get a master class on how to be not only a professional, but take their game to the next level. Right? That's what we all work for. I think as comics, that's what we work for. We work for that opportunity to be like, okay, I got to bust my ass in these open mics and these feature spots and these fucking opening MC spots at the club until one day, it's my turn. That's what it is. That's what we're hustling for, right? It's either that or you get Instagram famous and you start fucking.
That's the fucking new era too, and I hate it. I hate putting clips out because in reality, I'm a storyteller. So everything is supposed to be fucking quick. Like, oh, here's a 30-second bit, here's a fucking minute bit, and it's all quick online because that's anybody's attention span. I want to sit into like a 10 to 15 minute story. That's what I fucking do. And that that doesn't pop on Instagram. That doesn't pop on TikTok. You can't. I don't like the social media aspect of comedy.
No, it's changing a lot of things. I mean, I've seen it here. I've seen it here where like a weekend is booked by some YouTube or TikTok comedian. And I
respect what they do though.
No, I respect that they put asses in seats. But let's be real. This isn't hate, but let's be real. When you walk in on these TikTok and YouTube comedians that are doing 45 minutes and you're like, oh, I see what it is. You got hot on TikTok. You could put asses in seats. But now that you have to legitimately headline, you can't headline.
Bro, we were in Hawaii just a couple of weeks ago, walking down Waikiki, and we saw this bitch, and looked like she had some work done, but she looked familiar. And I couldn't place who she was because of the work she had done, but I knew she looked familiar. So I looked at my wife and she goes, oh shit, that's the girl from Teen Mom. Oh. It was Farrah Abrams from Teen Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from Teen Mom, right? I go, fuck, let me check. We get on the Instagram. She's like, oh, I'm down here in Hawaii celebrating my birthday. It was her. But her bio on Instagram said, comedy tour coming soon.
No.
And it's like, she's gonna do comedy? It's like, there goes a weekend from everybody. And yeah, she'll probably sell it and it'll be good for the club, but people are going to go to that and be like, okay, well, comedy sucks.
No, yes. Thank you. That's my point. It's like there was this dude, I forget his name, but he has that channel where it's called To the Max or whatever. Like he does all these comedy skits or whatever.
Yeah.
To the Max, right? And I saw him do a 45-minute set at Hyenas like 2 years ago. Packed out crowd. And it was dog shit stand-up. Dog shit. Not to say he wasn't funny, but it was like, you know what polished, good stand-up.
There's no substitution for stage time.
No.
There's no substitution for that. So when you step on the stage, yeah, people are going to recognize your name and they'll be like, oh, yeah, we're here. But unless they showed up to do a meet and greet with you, at about 5 minutes in, they're going to realize, oh, this guy's trash. And I feel like.
And you can't fake the fun. You can't fake the fun.
No, I feel like if you're famous, yeah, you got the 5 minutes. Oh my God, it's this guy. I saw him on TikTok or whatever. But after 5 minutes, they're like, man, this show is ass. He is not funny on the stage because it is different.
It is.
And
100%.
So at that point, people just pay for the fucking meet and greet.
Like again, this is not hating on what they do.
I think they're very talented, by the way. And
no.
To get that type of following on the internet, you don't do that without a skill set, without the ability to do that. But it's just different. It's like me spending 10 years in fucking stand-up comedy and going, you know what?
I think I'm an actor.
Let me go fucking do Shakespeare. It's like, what the fuck?
Who do you think you are, John Leguizamo?
Well, I actually take acting classes, so I'm all right.
Hey. I'm doing the same shit. Don't get it twisted. I do the same shit.
I was in the Super Bowl commercial, bro. I was in the Super Bowl commercial years ago with who the fuck from Dawson's Creek, James Vanderbeek.
James Vanderbeek. What'd you do? It's like, hey James, can you pass me the Bud Light?
Right. It was for Daytona 500.
Some
So I was like a super fan there, and like he came in, there was like some robots and shit going. I don't know what the fuck was going on.
That's the problem, sir. You did too much gator wrestling, so now they're putting you with fucking Daytona 500 commercials. What the
Gee,
fuck?
that check was nice, man.
I'm sure it was. I'm not,
That check was nice.
bro.
Hey,
I'll do anything for a check. I'll do
I'm
anything for.
SAG eligible from that shit.
Oh my god! Holy shit. So okay, let's kind of shift here a little bit. Let's talk about the mindset of the long process of this. What we do, stand up. It's a very long process. People that get in, there's an attrition rate for a reason, but the guys who kind of fight that attrition rate, they have something very common. There is no secret sauce, but there's very common attributes. What do you think you have that makes you stand the test of time? Because 10 years is not a fucking joke. 10 years in stand-up comedy is a doctorate's degree anywhere else.
For me, as somebody who's been in a lot of serious situations in terms of your safety, in terms of shit like that, I don't have a fear of anything except one thing: fucking failure. That's the only thing I fear in life is failure. I could walk outside my door right now, fucking get into a situation, and if I was to maybe die or pass away, my last thoughts, other than man, I feel bad that my family has to go through this, was fuck, I didn't make it. I didn't make it where I wanted to be. That's the only fucking fear I have is failure. So I know personally, it's gonna be hard to find people who outwork me. It's hard. It's why I was a successful fighter. When I was in the cage, I was thinking, man, I know this guy didn't fucking do as much as I did before I got here. I was sleeping on the mats, getting 4 or 5 workouts in. I know he wasn't doing that. So like, I know that if it comes to persistence or it comes to putting in work, I'll become addicted to that and I'll just do it. And I won't stop until something happens. So 10 years in, 10 years it's a doctorate to some. To me, I'm no longer new anymore. That's it to me. I think you're new until you're 10 years in. And I'm just no longer new.
Wow. See, for me, it's always been find your consistency, right? It's like, and I learned this early on. It's like you can't do it all, but you can find your consistency. If it's you're doing 5 mics a week, you do your 5 mics a week plus your shows. If it's you do 2, you do your 2, and you just take it away, take it away, take it away, take it away, take it away. And eventually, you're gonna find your success. And that's how I've kind of approached jujitsu. That's how I've approached my weight loss. That's how I've approached everything in life. It's like to me, it was never about being the best, but it's always about being consistent enough to build the skill set. That's how I've looked at it.
Steve, and this fucking gonna make me sound so fucking conceited, but I feel like comics, when they start, are trained to be very humble in their ambitions. In terms of, if you ask everybody's fucking goal when they start, they're like, I just want to make money doing comedy. I just want to fucking be able to pay my bills doing comedy. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. I want to be one of the best to ever fucking do this. That's how my mindset is. People like, I just want to fucking be able to work weekends. I want to sell out Madison Square Garden. That's where my mind is. So yes, there are many little goals beyond that. Like you have your fucking mini goals till you get there. But in my mind, when I'm fucking getting ready to go into the grave, I want people to fucking, the way we look at guys like fucking Kinnison or fucking Carlin or fucking, for me, it's Patrice O'Neal, but guys like that, I want to be like one of those motherfuckers. That's what I want to be. And I feel like people in comedy are meant to be humble in their ambitions, because if you speak openly like that, people want to shit on you and tell you, you can't do that. You're not that. You're not. And to those people, I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself. I'll get there. That's how I view it. I want to be one of the fucking goats. The way we just fucking suck Brett Ernst off for fucking 7 minutes.
You want some dudes on the internet to suck you off?
Yeah, I need somebody sucking me off.
It's like, it's not that I don't have big ambitions, right? But to me, my way to get to those big dreams and ambitions is being that dude that just is super consistent, right? Like I almost want to ride under the radar until like you can't deny me anymore, right? That's been my whole thing in life. It's like one day, like, yeah, right now people will say, like in Austin, I feel like I have a little respect, but it's also like, there's the new face syndrome in a city like Austin, where a guy from Chicago comes in that's been doing it 7 years. He's the new face in the city, so he gets put everywhere. But I'm still here. I'm consistent. Guess what? Oh, I can call Daniel. He can do 20 minutes tops. He can host. He can fucking feature. Boom, call him up. Anytime somebody drops it, boom, call Daniel. Boom, call Daniel. Boom, call Daniel. Eventually, all you're gonna do is call me. Then all of a sudden it's like, fuck. Why is Daniel everywhere? Because Daniel is consistent. And there's
a certain aspect to that. Like I don't remember who I heard that said this, but they just say, as long as you keep working, nobody could take this from you. So as long as you keep working, at some point you have to make it if you fucking keep working. You got to be honest with the work you're putting in. But if you're honest with the work you're putting in with yourself, then at some point you have to make it. So even though I said all those ideas of grandeur there, I said fucking 40 minutes ago, I don't like anything I do, because as hard as you want to be on me, I'm fucking 3 times as hard on me.
Oh, preach about it, dog. Preach about it. Go.
So like the fucking toughest filter I have to go through is me. I don't give a fuck what people say on the internet. I don't give a fuck what people say here or other comics in the scene or whatever, because they could say whatever they want. It's not as hard as the shit I'm telling myself when I'm driving home, listening to the fucking set.
Even if you murder, you're like, fuck, I fucked up that word. Fuck, that punchline wasn't right.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd I say it like that? That's not how I wrote it. What the fuck is wrong with me? I completely 100%.
People come up to me and they're like, hey man, that was a great set. Hey, you fucking killed. Hey, you did this. And in the back of my mind, I go, I felt like I bombed. I go, yeah. I killed because you guys don't understand it. But I really bombed. That was a fucking bomb and kill clothing right there.
Oh yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
And there's a thing, right? Like there's a thing in comedy where there's just hot crowds that you had a bad set, but because it was a hot crowd that was, either inebriated or they were just really receptive to comedy, that anything you say will make a laugh, but that isn't real. To me, when you have a good set is when you have to fight for the laughs a little bit and you get them anyway. When you have that Karen sitting in the front row that's giving you the side eye, you land the punchline, she walks out, but the rest of the room is just howling. You're just like, bitch, you didn't get it. Get the fuck out my shit.
That's one thing I've never had, I guess, the problem with is I'll do whatever I want on stage. Like I do not care. I remember I was featuring one time in Georgia with Dean Napolitano. He's one of my mentors in this game. And I got on stage and within 2 minutes, a lady opened her mouth. So for the next 28 minutes, I roasted this woman. And then I got off stage and the crowd loved it. And Dean comes on stage and he goes, I don't know how you could do that. He goes, I don't know how you can go in there. And it's not like I'm holding back and doing cute jokes with her. But he's like, I don't know how you could go be that like confrontational with somebody and they still like you. And I go, it wasn't necessarily confrontational, but I don't let fucking people do that shit to me. Like, don't fucking come to the show and disrespect it. And that, dude, I was in Ocala. And I'm in Florida. I'm at the point where I'm getting people who travel to see me a little bit, which is nice. I actually had a couple people travel like 4 or 5 hours to see me do a show down in Sunrise, Florida, which was dope. But I was headlining in Ocala, and I had somebody that every time I perform in Ocala, they come to the show to see me, and it was her birthday. And I was like, okay, we're going to make this show special. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do this. And the whole crowd was into it. But there was one guy on the side that just kept fucking opening his mouth. the entire time. And it was the kind of dude that like, even if you got him, like even if you like threw crowd work at him and you got him, he still wasn't going to shut up. And nobody polices the fucking room, so nobody was going to kick this dude out. So I put down the microphone on the stool and I looked at him and I said, hey, I want you to understand. I put the mic down. I want you to understand this is not a joke. I'm going to fucking throw you down those stairs if you open your mouth again.
Oh.
And then I picked up the microphone and I go, hey guys, sorry I had to do that, but that guy's a douchebag. And then they were just like right back into it. And his wife ended up taking him out.
Yeah, man. Some guys just, some guys should never walk into a comedy club. I mean, I get it. You just shut it. You just shut it. If you're in a pissy mood or you like to drink too much, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm too much of a loose cannon, but.
Nah, man. Nah, bro. So, I love your mindset, and I can see where it all comes from. You were a fighter. I know you do jujitsu, so I see where your mindset comes from. I see where your hustle comes from.
Now, it comes from family, bro. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so like we were. My family, of course, were Puerto Rican, right? My family moved to Illinois. We were the only ones there, and so like, even though like I look like an Italian cat, like we were the only Puerto Ricans there. My dad's dark skin, had an afro and shit. And like, there was that subtle hint of, you guys are different than us there. Like, it's not that they weren't necessarily friendly. Like they would be welcoming in certain situations. I had my group of friends or shit, but you could still feel like this air of, you're different. And occasionally they would throw fucking jokes at you, call you Mexican or whatever, because that's the fucking extent of their brainwaves there. But there was like a little bit of you had to fight for it because you were not country white. You weren't fucking like that.
Yeah, you had to, you're like me. Like when I first moved to Central Florida before the Puerto Rican invasion, it was like, you had to blend, you had to become a chameleon. You kind of had to blend in a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
So like I used to, my whole mindset, like I know how to rap and shit. And I've rapped all over this fucking country at this point. But I used to escape into hip hop music because I've related to it. And it was like, oh, the fucking energy of this music, I feel like I relate to this shit. And then I got really good at basketball and I started hanging out in the hood and I felt more comfortable there because they didn't make you feel different. They're like, you're just one of us. And so like I started playing ball there. And so it was like, I always felt like I had to work harder in the area I grew up to be accepted though. Like to be that guy. For example, I said I used to play AAU basketball down here. I've shut down dudes who are in the NBA now. My senior year of basketball, and in my high school, a town of 200 people, they would sit me sometimes. Like the coach didn't fuck with me. He would just put me on the bench. And there would be people in the crowd going, hey, why is he not playing? And it's like, he's fucking down there playing with some of the best players in the country. And now he's coming to this fucking school of 200 people and you got him on the bench. One time they left me on the bench. One time they left me on the bench until there were 3 minutes left in the game and we're getting our ass kicked. And I go in and I drop 24 points in 3 minutes and we lose by 1. And it was like, what the fuck?
It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Well,
that's why I became a fighter, though.
Hey, because team sports suck. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eugene, I hate to wrap it up, but I got another podcast to record here in a little bit.
I feel you. It's
brother,
all good.
Brother, thank you again for the conversation. You're fucking one of the real ones. You're one of my favorites to just talk to and just, kind of befriend in this country, and I really, really do appreciate it. Go ahead, plug all your stuff away. Any dates you got coming up, we'll go ahead and promote all of you, man.
Cool, man. I do a podcast too. It's called the Age Gap Podcast with my mentor, Dean Napolitano. It's kind of cool because we're two different generations. He's 20 years older than me. Even though we got different views on shit, we're still friends. I felt like there was a lot of division in the country these last few years. And it's just because of fucking social media and everybody feels like their opinion is more important than everybody's else. But that's kind of what that podcast is about. social media, I'm at Eugene Comedy everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit. My dates are on there. I got a link tree listed there. Other than that, dog, anytime you're in Florida, you know you got a spot with me. So,
Papa, I'll be down there in September. That's
hit
the
me up.
plan. I got you. I'll be down there in
Bro,
September.
shit. Wait, when you coming in September before we wrap?
Vamos a ver. I'm shooting for the 3rd week. That's what I'm shooting for. 3rd week of September.
3rd week. Fuck, where is it? The 24th. That's the 4th week.
Okay.
I'm doing a fucking Latin festival.
Vamos. Puñeta, vámonos pa'l carajo. I'll stay. I don't give a fuck. I'm a full-time comic right now, motherfucker. I'll go anywhere. Let's go.
So I'm doing a Latin festival. It's kind of tentative right now, but the booker reached out to me to do a Latin festival. If he once we nail that, I'll let you know. If you do, fucking come out and do some time with me. Fuck it.
Bro, let's do it. Hey, anytime before that you want me to come out to Florida, dude, I got peoples. I bring tickets. I call cousins. I call motherfucking Cubans from South Florida. I'll show my dick to get on stage in Florida. You know why? Because that is my fucking town, dog.
Hey, you trying to be the Puerto Rican Bobby Lee, man.
Bro, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, no, we'll do what we got to do. I'm setting up a new room in Dallas, so as soon as I get everything taken care of, I still have the room in Austin. I really want to bring you out, so let me get some shit together, and we'll figure it out. I hate producing, but you know, I got to put my people on. I got Orlando's my city, Kissimmee's my hometown to the day that I die. So guys, don't forget to give Eugene all your love, all your monies, and all your fucking attention whenever you can. Other than that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a review, and have a good day, good night, and a safe drive.